is when you are chatting with another mama friend and she drops some real life golden mama nuggets. Rowan Atkinson, author of Preventing Homeschool Burnout and podcast host of Canada Homeschools, invited me on her show, and I wanted to share those golden mama truths here with you. Now, Rowan asked me to share my story and how Speak Life Badges came to be for her listeners of the Canada Homeschools podcast. But if you've listened to all 64 episodes of the Renewed Mama podcast, you know my story. If you are new to the podcast, then please listen to episode 36, My Story. Otherwise, I just wanted to jump straight into some questions that Rowan asked and all of the golden nuggets we both shared about mom stress and overwhelm, especially when children are small, and how that affects our marriage and understanding our husbands better and them understanding us better. I know that you will relate. We talked about that mom or dad voice in our heads, how to use the scripts inside Speak Life Badges, and more. I hope that this condensed conversation is a blessing to you. I'm Kimberly Mutar, and welcome back to another episode of the Renewed Mama podcast, where you can take some time for yourself, slow down, breathe, and check in with your thoughts, the words you are saying, your parenting approach, and your communication, so that you can keep going instead of growing weary, so that you thrive in this mama journey and live with joy and peace. Mama, it's time to renew.
Sometimes, especially as a young mom, when we're so overwhelmed, we're not looking for someone to blame, but we are really looking for rescue. And our husbands don't really know how to do that, or even that we need them to do that. And if they did that, probably we wouldn't like how they did it anyway. But no, it can be very stressful in a marriage when you have little kids, because, maybe, at least in my case, I was a very independent woman. It's like, don't hold the door open for me. I can hold it for myself. Are you saying I'm weak? Like, come on. But then have 4 kids in 6 years. And yes, I am weak and I need help, right? But so I think sometimes that can contribute to conflict in your relationship, because you are expecting something from him that maybe he doesn't know you are, or how to give it even, or that you even need it. But then that can lead to resentment on your part. And then if they say dumb things, that just makes it worse. So, and then we say dumb things, and then it's like a vicious cycle. So learning to communicate, right, is such a process. Yeah. And then there's love languages too. I didn't realize that acts of service was my secondary one, because I just didn't need help. But then when I did need help, it's like, you can tell me I'm awesome all you like, but if you don't pick up a dish towel, I don't care. Like, it means nothing to me. Right? And my dad was very much a quality time and acts of service guy. So I never felt a lack in how he showed me love. But maybe my brother needed words of affirmation and things like that. And my dad was British, so you don't do words of affirmation. You, right? It's like, if you got 98 on a test, it's just like, well, I didn't expect anything less from you. Like, it was, you're not going to get, oh, good for you, from a British father who's been through the war and everything else, right? So
Rowan asked me this question.
The question comes across my mind, and I agree with all of that positivity. How do we, if we're speaking biblically, it's very important that our children also know that they are fallen humans, that they are sinful, even though we want to encourage them to have an amazing identity. How do we juggle those two things?
I'll share with you my answer to her in just a moment, but I'm not sure that I answered it very well. So I'm going to try again here. I haven't ever said that children weren't sinners. The Bible says that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Giving your children Speak Life badges is a tool to help you speak truth and to reinforce that truth of what God says about them as a person. It celebrates them when they make right choices, when they obey and succeed. It encourages them to keep going, to keep learning, to keep trying when something is hard. It's a tool that you can use to speak belief into your child when you don't yet see the behavior that you know is there or they are capable of. And it's a tool that you can use to break lies that they are believing. In this day and age when there is every agenda against our children to confuse or twist their identity, it's important that we are speaking what God says about our children over them and to them.
It's a great question. Giving them these sticker badges, we're not trying to inflate them or raise ego, but we do want to break a lie. So if somewhere in their life they are picking up a lie, my son, Jonathan, who was really quick to give up when something was hard, we need to help him to learn that, yeah, we're going to face a lot of hard things in life. But what matters is who we are when we face that challenge and who we can grow to become. My goal for parents to use this tool to say, you know what, we're going to face those hard things. Or you know what, we all make mistakes. We all speak things out of anger and frustration. And you said that to your brother and his sister. And I know that that's because you were hurt by what they did. But I believe in you to speak what is good, or I believe in you to think what is good and right and pure and lovely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How we can direct them around to the truth.
That's a great clarification. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. I was thinking about that mom's voice in our head or dad's voice in our head. And I'm really struck by, we're going to be a voice in their head regardless. Mm-hmm. So what kind of voice do we want to be in their head? Do we want them, as the example you gave, going through a struggle and having mom's voice in their head saying, oh, serves you right, you whatever? Or do we want mom's voice in their head to be, you can do it? And so I can see how this helps to create like positive words in their head.
Truth in their head. And as parents, we are vulnerable and we are real with our children. I hope that we are. I hope that we don't put up an affront. They see us struggle, and my children saw, they journeyed with me, obviously the oldest the most, where I had to say, you know what? Okay, hold on. Mommy got that wrong. I'm so sorry. I spoke out in frustration and I was just overwhelmed. And it wasn't something that you did. I just responded out of that. And I know I can't take back my words, but I want to make my words right. And so this is what mommy should have said. The times that I asked for forgiveness was so many, but it demonstrated to my children that it's okay to ask for forgiveness, to make it right, and to try again, because we're all learning and growing in this.
Yes, and your children know when you mess up anyway, so it's no shocker to them when you're confessing it to them. Right, but they really appreciate it, and they respect you for it more than they would if you just pretended that you were fine and didn't acknowledge.
That's right. And I give them full permission to call me out. I loved it in your book where you talked about chopping at the roots, and that you pulled those roots out, right? But sometimes that little, you got to prune
offshoot. Yeah,
that comes off. So when that criticism or that negativity or that judgment, right, or that whining and complaining shoots back up in my life, I say, I give you full permission to call it out. You can say what I said to you when you were little. Would you like to try that again? And I'm okay. You say, Mommy, would you like to try that again? And we can even laugh about it, right? Because that's the family culture I want us to have, the atmosphere in our home, is that we are helping each other to grow. And we are helping each other to break the lie, to say what is the truth, and to speak it out, because our words are powerful. We call into being what is not yet there with our words. We say, well, you're just lazy. Or how many times do I have to tell you to pick up those Legos? I'm tired of stepping on them. We are calling something out to our children, but is it life or is it death? That's the goal with Speak Life Badges, is to speak the life.
I like that idea of to say it again or to try it again. That's been helpful even in our marriage. Just say my husband isn't really listening, and I would react because, there wasn't proper engagement, in my opinion. To say, okay, let's rewind and start and do that again, as opposed to like jumping in with the reaction to.
Or to be able to say, okay, I just need a minute to process that. Yes. That's humbling to say that, right? But when we are really intentional with how we are thinking and speaking and responding, and how that is affecting our spouse or our children, it's important to do that. The other thing too, I think with children especially, is they don't have the capacity to say, oh, mommy's just frustrated. Or like in your book, you said your daughter said she's.
Oh, she was so young and she had a lisp because she talked so early. She's like, Mom's left out again.
Yes. Right. But they don't understand or know all the things that we are dealing with. They just receive the words because they love mommy and they want to please mommy and daddy.
Can you give us examples? You keep talking about scripts. Can you just share with us like a little bit about the scripts and some examples?
My daughters were not sharing. It was the oldest. So I pulled her aside and I said, Karis, I love your heart, like your big heart of love for Natalia. And I know that you want to share. Right now, you are not wanting to share this toy with Natalia, but that's not who you are. You have a big heart to share. And so I want to give you the sticker badge that says, I share. Then you get the chance to teach. The next time that you want to play with this toy and Natalia wants it, you can say, just hold on. I want to play with it a little bit longer. You can put her first and you can say, okay, here, you can play with this toy. And then would you give it back to me? You give that instruction. Well, she put on this sticker badge and she ran downstairs and she said, Mommy gave me the sticker that says I share. And I was thinking, oh, what's Natalia saying? Because Natalia's probably thinking, no, you aren't sharing. She wore that sticker all day. We were putting her to bed and she said, I just want to put this sticker on my bunk bed so that when I wake up, I remember that I share. And then the next day, she was choosing not to share. I just reminded her, oh, remember that sticker that I gave you yesterday that says, I share? I believe in you to share now with this toy.
If there is one gift that you could give your children today, it would be your words, chosen carefully and spoken well. The words you speak today are like seeds planted in their hearts and minds. These word seeds will sprout and bear fruit in their life as they grow and become adults. Use Speak Life badges, sticker award badges, along with suggested scripts, or words you can say in the situations you encounter with your children. These scripts are designed to help you to speak to your child's individual personality, to break lies they may be believing, and to help them to grow up with a truth-filled mindset. Get them today at speaklifebadges.com.
So if you could leave our listeners with one parting word of encouragement, what would you say?
I would say what you think and what you speak becomes how you respond, becomes what you believe about yourself. So if you feel that overwhelm or that frustration, or you feel like you're not getting anywhere in life, or you're not a good enough mom, or that this is too hard and the days are too long and when will this ever end, whatever it is, I just encourage you to stop, to breathe and say, what am I thinking again and again? What am I saying? And how is that becoming a reality in my life or in my children's life? And what can I change? What's the truth about this? How can I break that record and start speaking the truth over myself, over my children, over my spouse? You'll see real breakthrough in your life if that's what you need.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Before you go, I encourage you to listen to my conversation with Rowan when she was a guest on the Renewed Mama podcast. We talked about preventing homeschool burnout. I'll leave a link for that in the show notes. You can also check out her book, Enough Already, Real Help for Homeschool Burnout, Freak Out, and Zone Out. You can also tune into her podcast, Canada Homeschools. And both Rowan and I will be at the upcoming Ontario Christian Home Educators Connect, happening in May. So come visit us there. I'll be there with Speak Life badges and Austin's Kids Club, and Rowan will be there with her book and her Canadian A History and Geography resources. I'll leave all the info in the show notes. I'll see you next time. Take care, Mama.